Drip drip, the alarm sounded from under the pillow. Liu Cheng turned off the alarm clock on his mobile phone in a daze, opened his eyes. Unfamiliar ceiling, that's weird. Unexplainable complaints, as if complaining about another ordinary day. It is said that every boy fantasizes about being able to travel, especially boys of a certain school age. But Liu Cheng is obviously past this age. He is 18 years old, and he is a hard-working senior high school student. Yesterday, I reviewed until late at night, and I had to rush to class early in the morning. When will this day end? While thinking about it, the phone suddenly vibrated. Sister, picture. A picture was sent with a note of the senior sister's ID. In the picture, she is sitting on the bed in a JK uniform, her smooth black hair hangs down to her thighs, and the orange sun shines on her fair profile, looking attentively. No one can deny that this is an exciting girl. Senior sister, come to my house on Saturday to make up lessons. Don't be late. Liu Cheng took a closer look and saw that on the girl's thigh was an open and dense copy of 5-year college entrance examination and 3-year simulation. The other party was just sitting on the bed doing the quiz. Liu Cheng's excited heart suddenly cooled down. This so-called senior is actually his distant relative. He was admitted to Jiangnan University last year. Liu Cheng's parents asked her to teach Liu Cheng, so they made an appointment to go to her house every Saturday to make up lessons. He has been to his senior sister's house several times. The Baroque-style, duplex villa is said to be just one of the many properties in her family's name. Liu Cheng was lying on the table, typing with a salty expression on his face. Liu Cheng, got it. Text plus a Pikachu emoji. Liu Cheng reluctantly flipped through the photos above, and suddenly his expression changed. What the is this? He didn't pay attention to it just now, only then did he realize the strangeness of the picture. In the corner of the room, a small ghost creature, like a woman with a gaping mouth in Japanese fairy tales, is sitting in the corner. Its body is covered with yellow crusty skin, its eyes are blood red, and there is actually one attached to its head. He had a big mouth, and his sharp teeth were exposed, and he was about to move. Senior, you are going to be decapitated. Fuck. Liu Cheng cried out immediately, typing with trembling hands, Liu Cheng, what is that behind you? After a long while, the phone buzzed and vibrated. Liu Cheng quickly turned on his phone. Senior sister, you mean Mavely? Sister, you shouldn't have met her yet. This is the elf I got last week. Well, it's really rare in this area. Her scientific name should be Dazwiva. Big Mouth Baby? I know the Big Mouth Baby, the cute and cute loli in Pokemon, but this has nothing to do with the etc. Aside from prejudice, although this thing is scary, it does have the characteristics of a big mouth baby. Liu Cheng's expression changed. He turned on the computer and entered the search engine. His expression gradually became weird. The latest archaeological discovery, the newly unearthed precious fossils in Yunnan, the possibility of experts calling them ammonites is over 80%. A fire broke out in the elf protection forest in Liaocheng City, and the fire brigade is organizing water arrow turtles to rescue. It is reported that this fire may be related to the arrival of wildfire dinosaurs in their estrus. Exclusive. Jack Ma and Daewoo Monster attended the Global O2O Trainer Summit. It is reported that this summit aims to promote online interaction and trading of trainers. Liu Cheng was sitting in front of the computer desk. When you wake up from sleep, a Pokemon has arrived. Obviously, there was a deviation in the world line that Liu Cheng was in. In this world, elves are a part of reality, and all animations and games about Pokemon will naturally cease to exist. Liu Cheng rubbed his face. This is of course a good thing, at least his life is no longer boring, and he can even live with so many cute Pokemon. No, what the is the big-mouthed baby he saw just now? Liu Cheng hurriedly opened a documentary about Pokemon, which was the well-received Animal World. In the vast nature, there are countless elves with different habits. In the video, the electric mouse walking upright, twitching and thundering all over, a purple deformed creature with 3 rotten vegetable leaves on its head, showing a lunatic smile. The swarms of giant stinging bees, with red and big compound eyes all on their heads, and yellow and black patterns on their bodies, were frightening, and they flew in the sky and thought it was a natural disaster. And this vine monster covered with green tentacles, are you a follower of K-Zone? These Pokemon don't seem right? But the problem is that the barrage keeps floating past words such as Pikachu is so cute and I really want to have one. Riding a horse, do you call this cute? Am I the only one who is curious about these things? Isn't this a Pokemon, but the Sayasong World line? WDNMD. Liu Cheng went downstairs with a grey face, and suddenly saw a red figure in the kitchen. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Hearing the footsteps, the other party turned around and looked at Liu Cheng for 3 seconds. Rao's strong psychological qualities made Liu Cheng mentally prepared for the Pokemon in this world, but he still couldn't help taking a breath. A platypus standing on 2 feet, with a on its head, and its is burning. He was also wearing a love apron. Well, although it is still very curious, this platypus fire beast is always more pleasing to the eye than an insect Pokemon. Liu Cheng took 3 seconds to accept this setting. Seeing Liu Cheng, the duck-billed fire beast seemed very happy, called out, and continued to cook. I saw a note on the table, Xiao Cheng, my father, and I have to go to work first. The duck-billed fire beast will make breakfast for you. Don't be late for school after eating. Before the change of the world line, Liu Cheng's father was a cook and his mother was a nurse. And it seems that this platypus fire beast is helping Dad now. In the kitchen, I saw the duck-billed fire beast skillfully lighting the fire, controlling the temperature, and flipping the spoon. Liu Cheng looked at its skillful movements and suddenly felt a magical feeling. A Pokemon is cooking at my house. After a while, an omelette rice came out of the pot. The duck-billed fire beast carefully brought the omelette to Liu Cheng. Since it was only less than 1.5 meters away, his movements were a bit clumsy. This should be no problem, right? Although the chef was suspected of affecting his appetite, Liu Cheng couldn't help but taste this good-looking omelette. Good to eat. Liu Cheng's eyes lit up. The sauce is fresh and sweet, the rice grains are distinct, the heat is just right, and it is unexpectedly delicious. Seeing Liu Cheng feasting, the dead fish eyes of the duck-billed fire beast narrowed into slits, and the flames that spewed almost burned Liu Cheng's hair. Stepping on the bell, Liu Cheng, who was almost late, was sitting in the classroom, secretly scanning information on his mobile phone. In short, we must figure out what the world has become as soon as possible. In this world where elves come, Pokemon has been integrated into all aspects of society. Various new industries came into being, such as elves' beauty salons, elves' training, elves' raising and so on. And traditional industries are combined with Pokemon. Students majoring in civil engineering must have a small porter on hand. Coders in the computer industry generally choose a polygonal beast, art workers choose to breed a tutu dog. In general, the appearance of elves has greatly increased the productivity of society. On the other hand, the cultivation of elves requires a lot of financial and material resources. It is already the limit for ordinary families to cultivate 1 or 2 elves, and the market price of red and white poke limits the difficulty of obtaining elves for ordinary people. In country C, the market price of a red and white pokeball is 1W. Although the trainer is the most popular profession, the number of trainers is very rare. In order to encourage and cultivate new trainers, the state will have subsidy policies for various places. And each university has also added majors such as elves breeding, etc. Among them, the highest threshold is the elf training profession. So, you can only hope to get admitted to a good university if you study hard. Next, I will distribute a mock volunteer report to everyone, and fill in the major you want. On the podium, the head teacher, who was about to go bald, said bitterly, remember not to be too lofty. Choose a major that you can do honestly. Hey, Cheng, what major do you want to choose? Liu Cheng's table mate, Ale, a fat man with glasses, pestered Liu Cheng. I'm a little confused right now. Liu Cheng has not yet reacted from the changes in the world line. Ale showed an understanding expression and said, yeah, this kind of big thing does have to be troubled for a while. That's not what worries me. Liu Cheng grabbed his hair and showed Ale a screenshot of the video on his phone under the table. Look at this, what do you think of this Pikachu? Pikachu. Ale glanced at Liu Cheng suspiciously. He always felt that something was wrong with this desk mate today. He didn't listen carefully to the class in the morning, he kept holding the phone, and his face was cloudy. He squinted and glanced at the screenshot. This is Pikachu, what's wrong? Don't you think it looks a little wrong? Liu Cheng's face was almost twisted. Ale was so frightened that he shuddered all over. He held the phone and looked at it carefully, for fear of missing any details. This Pikachu, is so cute. Looking at this mouse with dark yellow spots and fat limbs, Liu Cheng couldn't associate it with cuteness. Yes, is there any problem? Ale shivered. Never mind. Liu Cheng slumped weakly on the chair. It seems that he is the only one who sees this Pokemon in the hunter mode. Could it be that he will get along with this strange creature day and night in the future? Thinking of this, Liu Cheng shuddered. Although he felt that something was wrong with Liu Cheng today, Ale still opened the chat box. By the way, Aiken, I heard that as long as you are 18 years old and go through the registration formalities with the street elf, you will be given a Pokeball for free. Is there such a good thing? Liu Cheng asked in surprise. After all, he checked it just now, and a Pokeball costs 1 WRMB. I heard that it is a special subsidy from the government. Each person can only receive 1 Pokeball, but the Pokemon has to find a way. Did you not see that the wealthy kids in our class have already started preparing? Although it is no problem for them to buy a Pokeball, but the state stipulates that only people who are 18 years old can apply for registration and legally possess Pokemon. For some students from extraordinary families, the family has already prepared suitable elves for them. However, the state stipulates that only people over the age of 18 can legally own elves, and every elves need to be registered. However, just holding a spirit does not make you a trainer. What an 18-year-old can have is the legal right to use the elves. To become a trainer, one must pass the assessment and approval of the Elf Association, and each battle elves must be registered. Only the elves and trainers who have gone through these procedures can participate in the elves competitions and gym challenges in various places, otherwise they will be regarded as black households and will not be recognized by the Elves Association. That is to say, after the 18th birthday, we will be able to have elves. Liu Cheng asked. Theoretically, this is the case, but my family can't afford Pokeballs, so we can only wait for the free Pokeballs. Ale smiled bitterly. Liu Cheng's family background can only be regarded as ordinary, and there are too many elves that he can't take care of. General trainers can only take care of 2 or 3 elves, 6 is the limit. UU reading www.uuganshu.com. In order to ensure that elves are not abused, the Elf Association stipulates that trainers can only hold 6 elves. Of course, sprites captured and uploaded to the database do not count. There is still a month before Liu Cheng turns 18, and before that, it's enough for him to figure out what kind of initial elf he wants. After all, in this malicious world, it was extremely difficult for him to choose a less curious elf. Then what kind of elves are you going to raise? Liu Cheng asked casually. I don't want to be a trainer. My dad asked me to take over his courier business. I might go to the breeding house to buy a long-winged gull's egg. Ale's family opened a small express store, and he also filled in the volunteer form with a major in elves logistics. After all, the long-winged gull can carry a lot of goods after it evolves, and small items can also be delivered directly to high-rise residents. Liu Cheng nodded. He has gradually begun to adapt to the fact that the elves are integrated into life. There are not a few people like Ale who don't aim to be a trainer, but possess spirits. For example, Liu Cheng's father is only a chef, but he still has a duck-billed fire beast. And he also realized that in this world, a trainer is a very rare profession that burns gold. Pokeballs, food, medicines, skill discs, all of which have to be solved by the trainer. However, I made a decision. What did you decide? Ale looked confused. I saw that Liu Cheng resolutely filled in the words of Jiangnan University's elf trainer major on the volunteer form. In the world of Pokemon, what is the difference between being a trainer and salted fish? As for the appearance of the elf, the PM's true love party matter, can it be considered a matter? Majored in elf trainer at Jiangnan University. Although it is a newly established major in recent years, Jiangnan University, as the only double first-class university in Zhejiang Province, has become the ace major of Jiangnan University with the strong support of the society and the school and strong teachers. It is said that the head of the professional department is Du Zhe, a talented trainer in his early 30s. After winning the top 4 in the national competition, he rejected the appointment of the Elf Association and chose to return to his hometown to discover and cultivate a new generation of trainers. And Jiangnan University is also the alma mater of the senior, which is one of the reasons why Liu Cheng filled this major. But how difficult it is! First, the teaching materials in this world have undergone earth-shaking changes. Liu Chen's political, historical, geophysical, and physical transformation has suddenly added several elf studies. Fortunately, it is not difficult to review with the memory of his previous life, otherwise Liu Cheng would have to die. However, the advantages of being admitted to this major are also obvious. Since ancient times, trainers have been divided into street schools and academic schools. The parents of the former are mostly elf trainers who have not received professional training, but they often have rich combat experience. The latter are mostly college graduates. Although they lack combat experience, their professional knowledge is more solid, and they can often gain more contacts. Country C currently has 34 provincial gymnasiums, of which more than half of the gym owners have experience of studying in colleges and universities. And most of the staff of the Elf Association are from various colleges and universities. They are not only powerful trainers, but also outstanding graduates of colleges and universities. In general, as long as Liu Cheng can be admitted to the trainer major of Jiangnan University, it means that half of his feet have entered the door of a trainer. Of course, the most important thing is the bond between the trainer and the elves. For Liu Cheng, who doesn't even have a Pokeball, it's obviously still a long way off. His top priority now is to study hard. Perhaps. Go away again. Along with a fragrance, a soft hand patted Liu Cheng's head. Raising her head, she put on gold-rimmed glasses, and the senior with black hair down to her chest was standing beside Liu Cheng, supervising his homework. Who can do this kind of ghost problem? Liu Cheng shouted at the dense book of 100 lectures on spirits in front of him. Which question? It is known that Meryl's tail has the function of replacing the floating sack. When Meryl's tail is up in the turbulent river, where is it most likely? A. Predation. B. Training move. C. Courtship. D. Drowning. What the is drowning? Do water elves still drown? The turbulent river is the interference option for this question. It is very clear in the picture book that when Mary Lou only has its tail floating on the water, it means that it is diving in the water to eat aquatic plants. Facing the serious-looking senior, with some very unserious questions, Liu Cheng had no choice but to nod his head with a sullen face. Okay, let's learn here first in the morning. Senior sister was about to encourage Liu Cheng when she heard the door being pushed open. Marvel! Liu Cheng turned his head and saw a big-mouthed baby with a big mouth on top of his head, his fangs exposed, and his two blood-hole-like eyes glowed dimly. He took a lot of effort to get the goosebumps off his body. This is the watermelon that Mom asked you to serve? Thank you. Senior sister touched Deswiva's head affectionately. In Liu Cheng's eyes, the sight was no different from putting her hand on the tiger's mouth. Senior sister took the watermelon from Deswiva and put it in front of Liu Cheng. "What's the matter, you look a little uncomfortable." "It's okay, I'm just a little tired." Liu Cheng wiped his cold sweat and said. "This is the marvel I told you last time, come to marvel and say hello to my brother." Senior sister smiled. I saw Deswiva walking towards Liu Cheng step by step, looked at Liu Cheng timidly for a while, then took a piece of watermelon from the plate and handed it to Liu Cheng. "She seems to like you very much." Senior sister smiled. Liu Cheng took the watermelon tremblingly. Deswiva stared at Liu Cheng for a while, then slipped out of the door as if shy. This child is a little afraid of life. He was quite shy when he met people before. Senior sister explained with a smile. Liu Cheng nodded, showing a smile like the rest of his life. "Great, I survived." The ghost knows what kind of ghostly scene Liu Cheng experienced just now. Senior sister didn't know that this scene, which was extremely warm in her eyes, was a disaster for Liu Cheng. An upright strange plant will hand you a watermelon. Fortunately, Liu Cheng's strong nerves adapted immediately. He coughed lightly, and said, "Sister, I can register to own the first elf right away. Do you have any suggestions?" "A primordial elf." Senior sister tilted her head and thought for a while, then said, "Generally speaking, college students will choose elves that fit their majors. Speaking of which, Liu Cheng, what major are you filling in the simulation?" "The elf training major at Jiangnan University." "For elves training, you should give priority to the fighting strength of elves." Saying that, senior sister showed an apologetic expression and said with a smile, "Because I studied the traditional engineering management major, I don't have strict requirements for the initial elves. Marvel was given to me by my mother. She's not very good at fighting. However, since it's a trainer profession, a Pokémon with great potential is definitely the first choice. It's like the little fire dragon, the seeds of the wonderful frog, or the water spirits like Mohama." Liu Cheng had a dark face. He has already checked, the market price of a small fire dragon egg is about 70 to 80W, and a rare elf like Mohama is at least 300,000 to 400,000 yuan. It's completely out of his scope. Although this is not a problem at all for a rich girl like senior sister, but Liu Cheng is a poor man. However, there is one thing that Senpai is right, that is to choose a Pokémon with great potential, which means that the racial value must not be low. Liu Cheng silently added in his heart, "It can't be too weird. By the way, I heard that if you are a trainer, you will go on an off-campus study tour after 1 year of professional knowledge." Senior sister tilted her head and said suddenly. "Is there such a thing?" Liu Cheng asked in surprise. "Yes, because for trainers, theoretical things are more than enough for a semester, and the more important thing is practice. Generally speaking, trainer majors will go on a study tour during the summer vacation of their freshman year, participate in competitions, or challenge various provincial gymnasiums. In our school, I remember that the condition for graduating senior year is to have at least 4 provincial gym badges. However, you can participate in the national competition with 8 badges. Seniors usually save up to 8 badges and try their luck in the national competition. A dozen or so of the top 64 national competitions last year graduated from Jiangnan University." Liu Cheng already knew that this world also has the setting of a gym. There are 2 types of gymnasiums, national and private. The masters of national gyms are mostly elite trainers who have won the rankings in national competitions, while private gyms can also be recognized by the state as long as they are strong. These gyms will receive government subsidies, and some powerful provinces will have multiple gyms coexisting. Only trainers who have earned 8 or more badges in the country will be eligible to participate in the national championships. This is undoubtedly the goal of any trainer. However, it is not so easy to become a trainer. The 1W Pokeball and all kinds of expensive Pokemon eggs all contributed to the scarcity of trainers. Elite trainers are often rich or expensive, and only a very small number of civilian trainers can persevere, and naturally the trainer class is formed. If you want to enter the top batch of trainers, money and connections are indispensable. Due to national regulations, only trainers who have obtained 3 or more badges and are under the age of 30 can receive the monthly trainer allowance. Before that, trainers had almost no income. In order to cultivate elves, trainers have to buy expensive elves food, equipment, and even skill CDs. Therefore, trainers are not only rare, but also known as the most gold-burning profession. Despite burning money, Liu Cheng still aspires to become a trainer. After all, it was a childhood dream. For the trainer major of Jiangnan University, Liu Cheng has been working very hard these past few weeks. Liu Cheng's parents saw it and thought about sharing some of the pressure for the child. My child's father, do you think Xiao Cheng is a little bit wrong these 2 days? It's too hard, isn't it? It's all right. I came here like this back then. No, he has been sitting in front of the computer desk for 3 hours, motionless. I guess it's because I'm fascinated by something. Young people, it's understandable. Liu Cheng's father was lying outside the door, while Lu's mother rested her chin on Lu's father's head. The two looked at Liu Cheng from the crack of the door and whispered. Suddenly, Liu Cheng heaved a sigh of relief, stretched, turned off the computer, and came out of the door. Liu Dad and Liu Mom couldn't dodge in time, so they bumped into Liu Cheng and looked a little embarrassed. Dad, Mom? Liu Cheng asked in surprise. Why are you two standing at the door? Mother Liu glanced at the ceiling, and secretly kicked Dad Liu with the pestle. Dad Liu had no choice but to smile while sweating. The meal was ready, and if you didn't respond for a long time, my mother and I came up to call you. He can't always say that he thinks you are under too much pressure in the college entrance examination. He is afraid that you can't think about it for a while. Oh, it's already at this point, I'll go down right now. Liu Cheng did not suspect him, looked up at the clock, and went downstairs to eat. Lu's father and Lu's mother followed behind Liu Cheng and exchanged glances. Mother Liu, you ask. Dad Liu, I asked again. Mother Liu? Dad Liu, I ask. The 3 of them sat at the table, and one seat was reserved for the platypus, which was still cooking chicken soup in the kitchen. In the past month, the duck-billed fire beast has worked very hard for Liu Cheng's food. Facing a table of exquisite meals, Liu Cheng moved his index finger, but he didn't notice the abnormal expression of Lu's father and Lu's mother. When Lu's mother stared at him, Lu's father coughed and said, Xiao Cheng, have you been on your mind recently? No. Liu Cheng still had grains of rice sticking to his mouth, and his face was bewildered. Xiao Cheng, my father can understand when I first opened Qingdu, but you can't waste your studies because of this. You know, the most important thing for you now is the college entrance examination. Dad Liu suddenly said bitterly. Ah! Liu Cheng was once again stunned. Which one is this singing? Mom Liu coughed heavily, gave Liu Dad a blank look, and immediately put on a kind smile to serve Liu Cheng with food. Xiao Cheng, don't listen to your dad's nonsense, he just likes to think when he has nothing to do. Dad Liu knew that the goal had been achieved, so he took a big mouthful of rice without saying a word. Liu Cheng was stunned for a long time, and suddenly realized that this was because the second old man suspected that he was in a puppy love, and came to deceive him specially. This pair of living treasure parents. Liu Cheng laughed, but remembered that he did have something to discuss with his parents. By the way, Dad, I'll be an adult in a week, and I can get a Pokeball from the street office, but my starting Pokemon hasn't been decided yet. Yes, Xiao Cheng is almost an adult in the blink of an eye. Mom and Dad were taken aback at the same time, as if they had suddenly reacted. In their eyes, Liu Cheng has always been a young child. This unreliable pair of parents, at first glance, they forgot about it. Liu Cheng said helplessly, I was just searching for what kind of starting elf is suitable for a rookie trainer. For newcomers, grass-type elves are quite suitable. I think walking grass is good, and it is very easy to cultivate and feed. Dad Liu also has a duck-billed fire beast, and it is rare to be serious. Mom Liu gave Liu Dad a white look and said, our son is going to be a trainer in the future, walking grass, do you know how weak it is? Take it out to make people laugh. Dad Liu said embarrassingly, isn't this able to evolve? Mom Liu glared at Dad Liu, evolution stone, do you buy it? The price of any evolution stone on the market is as high as 500,000 or 600,000, and they are all expensive and unmarketable. This is also the reason why the walking grass can evolve into a beautiful flower or a rafflesia, but is despised by Lu's mother. If it can only evolve into a stinky flower, it is better to keep a lotta. Liu Cheng had also considered walking grass, but the purple unknown creature and the sky-high evolution stone in the video dispelled his idea. Besides, the stinky flower can be described as notorious, even if it is placed in the poke ball, it will have an odor. People generally keep away from the users of the stinky flower. Dad Liu was so choked up by Mom Liu that he couldn't speak, so he had to take a big mouthful of rice. I just listened to Mother Liu, if you are an initial elves, my mother will take you to the breeding house on the weekends. If there is a suitable one, we will buy it and take it home. If it really doesn't work, your country grandfather can also think of a way. The breeding house is a place affiliated with the Elf Association, specializing in hatching and selling elf eggs. Novice trainers usually choose to go to him to subscribe for elf eggs. This kind of elf hatched from an early age will be more intimate with the owner, and secondly, it is more convenient to cultivate. Liu Cheng nodded. He had checked before and found that rare elves would not be sold in general cultivation houses. After all, cultivation houses are for the general public. You read www. Most of them on yuyuganshu.com are cheap elves, such as Little Rata, Bobo, Green Caterpillar, and the like. The market price of a small lotta is between 2 and 3,000, and the Green Caterpillar can be sold for about 1,000 yuan, while the price of Bobo is a little more expensive, generally more than 5,000. Bobo is the initial elf that Liu Cheng expected. After all, as a family bird, it has 3 stages of evolution, and the price is not expensive. After evolving into a bird, it can save a fortune on air tickets. The most important thing is that Liu Cheng has seen Bobo's appearance. Not scary at all. The neighbor, Uncle Wang, raised a Bobo. Its appearance is just based on the original Bobo, with more distinct edges and corners, and a more fierce appearance. But all of this is even more handsome for a raptor. This is simply the good news for Liu Cheng. This kind of bird sprite is so much friendlier than the insect system. While Liu Cheng was YY, the phone vibrated for a while, and he looked down. Sister, document senior sister, I've sorted out the grades and admissions brochures for the elf training major of Jiangnan University in recent years. Remember to take a good look at it. I'm stuffed. After speaking, Liu Cheng hurried upstairs. Also said that she didn't have a puppy love, this must have been a little girl who sent her a message. Mom Liu approached Dad Liu and said. Dad Liu knew the truth that calamity comes out of his mouth. He pretended not to hear it. Mother Liu didn't take a few bites in anger, then stopped the chopsticks. Kitchen, the duck-billed fire beast came out wearing a love apron and a chef's hat, carrying a bowl of steaming chicken soup. However, seeing that everyone had finished their meal, they immediately showed an extremely melancholy expression. On the weekend, Liu Ma took Liu Cheng to the nurturing house. The cultivation house is not in the city center, but a large farm is surrounded by the city, which is also convenient for large-scale cultivation of elves. Hello guest, do you need anything? The clerk with his signature smile stepped forward and asked. The largest cultivation house chain in Country C is the Pouch Beast Cultivation Company, and this cultivation house with the puppet icon is obviously also a branch of the company. The clerks of the breeding houses are generally from the elf hatching major, and there are also a few graduates of the elf breeding major who are responsible for the feeding of the breeding animals. Of course, in order to sell elf eggs, it's a bit like the marketing industry. I want to buy an initial elf for my son. Lu Ma said. The clerk nodded and said, I wonder which direction your child plans to develop in the future. The importance of the original elves to a person is self-evident. It can often accompany the owner for a lifetime, and some can even be passed down from generation to generation. And some people will consciously choose the elves that suit their profession. Long-winged gulls like Ale are a very suitable choice for the logistics industry. I plan to apply for the elf training major. Lu Cheng said. Oh, is that so? The clerk was awe-inspiring. In this world, people's recognition of trainers is still very high. In that case, let me recommend a few elves to you. The clerk brought the two of them to the front of a row of shelves. There were containers on the soft cushions. The containers were filled with elf eggs. This is the elf egg of the green caterpillar. Although it is relatively common, it evolves very quickly and can form combat power immediately. Many students majoring in elf training will choose this kind of insect elf. And this one, Nidoran's elf egg, a poison-type elf, if nurtured properly, both limbs and head horns can be used as powerful combat power, and if it evolves into Nilorino, it will be very powerful. The clerk recommended to Lu Cheng some common elves. Although Lu Cheng expected it, he was still a little disappointed. I thought I would be able to pick up a leak like the protagonist of a novel. What are you, Kira eggs, baby dragon eggs or something? Sure enough, novels are all lies. Lu Cheng frowned. Although these elves are good, they are not strong enough. Although Nirolino can also evolve into King Nido, the Moonstone is still something Lu Cheng can't achieve. As for the green caterpillar? Hehe, unless it can evolve into a mega, that fat green worm doesn't even want to enter my poke ball. A few days ago, Animal World had already cast a shadow on Lu Cheng, especially in the first issue of the Green Caterpillar column. A giant butterfly covered in mucus emerged from the carapace. The slimy sight made him feel sick to his stomach. Aren't there any bird sprites? Bobo or Doudou pigeon or something? Lu Cheng asked. The strength of the family bird is often not bad, and the strength of the stupid thing on the flying elves is obvious to all, so it is called the king of flying like dew. I'm so sorry, the Popo eggs in the store were sold out a few days ago. The clerk said apologetically. The Dao Douch Cup Carrier Pigeon Contest was held in Zhongcheng just last month. The popularity has not subsided, and the bird-type elf eggs are very popular. How long will it take for a new batch of elf eggs to arrive? Lu Cheng said without giving up. It will probably take 2 months. 2 months later, Lu Cheng's summer vacation was over. It was obviously too late to start cultivating elves at that time. Lu Cheng sighed, and was about to ask for a Nidorang egg when suddenly the phone rang. Hey! Xiao Cheng, don't rush to buy elf eggs. Your grandfather said that the elf has been prepared for you. Lu Cheng's eyes lit up. Lu Cheng's grandfather was an honorable veteran. After his wife died, he lived alone on a farm in the countryside. In the afternoon, Dad Lu drove Lu Cheng to his grandfather's house in the countryside. Grandpa contracted a large piece of land in the countryside to do the feed business. Lu Cheng didn't know what the specific materials were, but according to the nature of urine in this world, it is not uncommon for elves to prey on food. Lu Cheng's grandfather had been waiting at the door for a long time. He grinned when he saw Dad Lu's jeep. The spirited old man was wearing an army green vest and overalls, with a towel on his head, and waved to Lu Cheng with the towel. Grandfather! Lu Cheng hugged his grandfather. Grandpa laughed and patted Lu Cheng on the shoulder, saying, "Good boy, I haven't seen you for so long, and you've grown so tall." Because of his studies, Lu Cheng did not see his grandfather for a long time. While talking to his grandfather, he walked into the familiar courtyard. In my memory, the colorful parrot raised by my grandfather turned into a noisy bird. The colorful hairs on its body made it look a little weird. Seeing Liu Cheng, Noisy Bird stepped on the wooden pole and shouted, "Here, the little boy is here, the little boy is here." Grandpa made a fist gesture, and the Noisy Bird was silent for a moment. I saw Grandpa patted Liu Cheng on the shoulder and said, "Cheng Cheng, I heard that you are about to take the university entrance exam. What major are you planning to take?" "Trainer major at Jiangnan University." "Stinky boy, your tone is not small, Jiangnan University is a key university." Liu Cheng had been close to his grandfather since he was a child, and the two were more like friends, so he said with a hilarious smile. "That's right, don't even look at whose grandson." "Ha ha 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 ha." Grandpa laughed loudly and patted Liu Cheng's shoulder hard, causing Liu Cheng to hurt. "Your father told me that you are worried about the elf egg, and it happened that my grandfather's comrade in arms gave me an elf egg these days, saying that he gave me an elf so that I would not be lonely. Only fire-type elves. Raised in the yard without lighting the yard. For novice trainers, UU reading www.uuganshu.com. Fire elves are not actually very friendly initial elves. First, their power is difficult to control, and second, fire elves have extremely high requirements for the environment and diet. But also, fire-type elves can exert great combat power at a young age, which is unmatched by grass-type and insect-type. Liu Cheng was so moved that he hurriedly asked, "What kind of elf is that?" "Six tails." Liu Cheng was taken aback. Happiness came so suddenly, Liu Cheng didn't even react. In the original Pokémon, the six tails have an extremely high popularity, and they are cute and cute. After they evolve into nine tails, they have a charming royal sister model. In terms of battles, the hidden feature of the nine tails Sunshine can act as a good weather hand, and in this real world, igniting fire is also quite good. In addition to avoiding fire damage, it can also reduce the occurrence of fire. Therefore, in places like our country where fires are frequent, Nine Tails is even regarded as a mythical beast, and a shrine is established and worshipped. "No, it's this one." I saw my grandfather took out a light red elf egg from the back room, and the surface of the eggshell had a rose-like red pattern symbolizing the fire spirit. Liu Cheng carefully held it in the palm of his hand. The elf egg felt warm and heavy, symbolizing the birth of a life. "This elf egg is about to hatch soon, so you can take it home first. I have the incubator here. Let your dad take it back in the car later. The elves will recognize the first person they see when they are born as their masters, so you must treat them well," Grandpa said. Liu Cheng didn't speak, stared at the pale red elf egg and nodded vigorously. Liu Cheng went out to find Lu Wei's photo. In this world that has been changed by magic, he is afraid that the six tails will also be poisoned. However, he had already made up his mind that even if the six-tailed appearance was unbearable, he would definitely choose the six-tailed as his initial elf. When he took this elf egg from his grandfather, his heart skipped a beat. This was a feeling he had never experienced before. The elf egg in his hand is a living being, rambling around in the eggshell, trying to feel the temperature of his palm. Liu Cheng's heart was melted all of a sudden, and he hugged Liu Cheng all the way in Dad Lu's jeep. But fortunately, like in response to Liu Cheng, the appearance of the six tails is not too serious, and basically retains the original appearance, but the brown hair is more upright, the teeth are sharper, and the body is not as round as the original version, but a little thinner, with more characteristics of a fox in reality. Liu Cheng carefully placed the elf egg on the soft cushion in the elf incubator. The elf incubator is a machine specially made for incubating elves. It uses infrared rays to reach the temperature of incubating elves. It is divided into a home version and a factory version. The latter are often so large that they can accommodate several production lines simultaneously hatching pixies. This Liu Cheng is just a home version taken from Grandpa. It is placed in Liu Cheng's room, and only one can be hatched at the same time. Close the lid and turn on the power. Liu Cheng breathed a sigh of relief as if he had completed a major mission. The next thing to do is to wait for the elf to hatch. Before that, go to the street to get the elf ball, and also buy the equipment and food for fire-type elf online. Liu Cheng was thinking about tomorrow's itinerary, but felt extremely sleepy, so he turned off the lights and went to bed early. Tomorrow is Liu Cheng's birthday. At the age of 18, it means that he can have a poke ball and officially use the poke. And his first elf was lying quietly in the incubator, sleeping with him. In the dark, Liu Cheng's cell phone suddenly lit up, and the faint fluorescence and the red light of the incubator complemented each other. "Midnight sister, happy birthday." All of this, Liu Cheng, who was sleeping soundly, had no idea. "Liu Cheng, Shuet, senior sister. I went to bed too early yesterday and didn't see it." "Liu Cheng, thank you, senior sister." "Ha ha ha ha, you actually remember my birthday." The sun shone in, and on the wide lace princess bed, a girl with fluffy hair yawned sleepily. Glancing at the phone, a faint smile appeared on the girl's face. "Sister, it's all right, come on for the college entrance examination." After typing, the girl stretched out her hand and poked at Big Mouth Baby who was still sleeping beside her, only to find that her nose was oozing out of her sleep, so she couldn't help but smile. "Miss, today I'm going to my wife's gym to practice elf battle." Following a knock on the door, a maid wearing a black lace dress entered the door and said meticulously, "Understood, I'll go over immediately." The girl's expression suddenly became a little cold, and she said calmly, "Don't enter or leave my room casually next time." "Ms. gave me orders, I'm afraid you won't get up, miss." "You go out first." Senior sister interrupted. "Understood." As the maid left, the room seemed empty again. Senior sister sighed, gently picked up the Big Mouth Baby, and said softly, "Marvel, we have to work hard." 10 minutes later, the senpai who finished grooming went downstairs. Her long hair was tied into a ponytail, and she was wearing a well-cut black short dress, which not hindered her movement, but also highlighted her figure. On her white thighs, she wore a pair of trainer's leg circle sleeves, a sparkling luxury. The ball was pinned to her thigh. "The car is ready, miss," the maid said respectfully. Senpai nodded silently. A black extended version of Lincoln drove out of the luxurious manor and headed for the famous Jitian Taoist Hall in Zhongcheng. Jitian Gym is a private gym that has only emerged in the past 10 years, but in one fell swoop, it defeated the national gym that has been rooted in Zhongcheng for a long time, and obtained the gym license of the Elf Association. The founder of the gym is said to be a Chinese trainer from country R, surnamed Kawashima. The current gym owner is the only daughter of the owner of Kawashima, and her mother's surname is Lin, and her name is Lin Yuan. Although this gym master Lin is a woman, her strength as a gym master is no less than that of her father, and she ranks 7th in the national most difficult gym ranking recognized by trainers. You know, there are 34 gyms in the whole country. This is enough to prove Lin Yuan's strength. What few people know is that this gym owner has a daughter named Mu Wen with Mu Chen, a famous entrepreneur in Zhongcheng. Lin Yuan had hoped that Mu Wen could become an elf trainer like her since she was a child, but found that her daughter lacked interest in combat, so she had to agree with her to pursue a traditional major, but she did not fail at all in her training. This big-mouthed baby was prepared for Mu Wen by her trustee, and it has extremely high qualifications. Senior sister came to the hall of the Jitian Taoist Hall with a luxury ball, but found the sound of fierce fighting in the battle hall. This is someone who is already engaged in a spirit battle. Senior sister is a little curious. After all, the Jitian Taoist temple has a reputation outside, and those who dare to challenge are all trainers with strong strength and self-confidence, and this level of battle is of great benefit to novice trainers. Walking into the battle hall, a violent metal crash made her eardrums buzz. In the battle arena half the size of a basketball court, Two Pokemon are fighting fiercely. On one side is Lin Yuan's commander of slashing, and the matte blade shows that Lin Yuan has carefully nurtured him, while the other side is a gorgeous nine-tailed, although his body is covered with scars, but his eyes are still glowing with a faint glow. Blu-ray. On the high platforms on both sides, the trainers confront each other. Although Lin Yuan had the upper hand in the situation, her expression was extremely serious. Opposite her, was a man wearing a military vest with an extraordinarily strong figure. The man laughed loudly and said, "Master Lin, you and Commander Chopping are still exactly the same as they were back then." His implication was that Lin Yuan had not made any progress over the years. This is undoubtedly a provocation for a pavilion owner. Lin Yuan frowned, did not respond, and commanded, "Commander/Invisible Rock." Following Lin Yuan's order, countless thorny rocks appeared on the field. Com can get stabbed by a rock spike if he's not careful. Commander Chopping is an elf of the evil plus steel type. Although Ninetales can use super power moves, they are pure fire type and restrain Commander Chopping in terms of attributes. However, Invisible Rock is a rock type move. In these rocks, Ninetales' mobility will be limited, and Commander of Slash, whose speed is worrying, will have the opportunity to attack it. The man seemed a little surprised. If he insisted on breaking through the rock formation, he would undoubtedly pay a great price. Ninetales, wrap yourself in a vortex of flames. Ninetales screamed, and the flames ignited violently on her body, making people dare not approach. Although Lin Yuan used the invisible rock to limit the mobility of the Ninetales, but with the fire-starting properties of the Ninetales, as long as the cloak formed by the flame vortex was attached to her body, Commander Chopping didn't dare to act rashly. The situation was stalemate for a while, but the sudden change, taking advantage of the moment when the flame vortex ended, Lin Yuan shouted, "Commander Cleave, use Cleave." With a flash of white light, Lin Yuan's chopping commander broke out at a speed that ordinary chopping and chopping commanders could not reach at all, and in just an instant, it approached Ninetales. This is Commander Cleaver using the surprising blow to shorten the distance, and using split to cause damage. Seeing that the knife light was about to fall on Zhuwei's body, with a swoosh, the knife that was determined to win slashed on the phantom. Move at high speed. Obviously, men have long been prepared for this trick. Although the flame vortex can only last for less than 5 rounds, the moment it ends is also the best opportunity to attack. Ninetales, shoot flames. Commander's speed was already at a disadvantage, and it was unavoidable when he was close to him. After eating a full amount of jet flame, he fell to the ground covered in charred black. Lin Yuan calmly took back Commander Chop, who was incapacitated. Although he was defeated, if it was a 6v6 duel, the commander of chopping and slashing completed the task of throwing nails, and also caused a lot of damage to the enemy's special attackers, and he has successfully completed the task in terms of strategic goals. But unfortunately, this is a 1v1 duel, and her ace elf is being healed by medical staff, not in her hands. The man retracted his Ninetales, walked up to Lin Yuan, and laughed loudly, "Well, my Ninetales haven't regressed over the years, right?" Lin Yuan waved to her daughter, then frowned at the man and said, "Why did the people from the armed forces suddenly come to Zhongcheng?" "What, the armed forces? I have long since been discharged." The man waved his hand, saw the person coming, and said with a smile, "This is your daughter? It's really carved out of the same mold as you." "Hello, uncle." Senior sister looked at the man in military uniform and saw a very deep scar on his face, extending from the brow bone to the eyes. Although the man was smiling, at a certain moment, his eyes suddenly became sharp, like a monster waiting for prey, which made people shudder. Senior senpai only felt a shiver all over her body and a chill down her spine. Lin Yuan protected her senior behind her, and said slightly sullenly, "If you don't say anything, I will trouble you to go out." "Ha ha ha, occupational disease, occupational disease," the man said with a ha ha ha. "I came to Zhongcheng mainly to see my comrades in arms. Then there's no need to come here specially. Lin Yuan frowned. To tell you the truth, apart from this, there is indeed a mission that you, the gym owner, need to participate in. What mission? The Elf Association plans to hold a youth trainer competition in every province. When it comes to work, the man suddenly became serious and said seriously, to be honest with you, after I was discharged from the armed forces, I was assigned to the competition department. I was originally a pensioner, but it seemed that I had received an order to hold competitions in all provinces, and to designate and limit youth training under the age of 20. Family. Why? Isn't the competition department only responsible for national competitions? The provincial competitions are naturally in charge of each region. Lin Yuan asked curiously. I also heard what others said. It is said that this year, the age of the expedition team from Country U in the World Championships is generally under 30 years old. Under normal circumstances, the strength of a trainer is directly proportional to age. With the accumulation of time, the trainer tends to become stronger and stronger until reaching the peak at the age of 40. Therefore, it is common to participate in several world competitions. Veteran. Lin Yuan was also surprised when she heard the news, and said, Are these young people stronger than the veterans? The man said solemnly, In the last national competition in U country, you know that the winner of the championship is not in the information of the Elf Association at all. After investigation, it was discovered that the champion is only 23 years old. The cultivation of young trainers is imminent. Otherwise, it is very likely that there will be faults after our generation gets old. I think this is also the reason why the association is eager to hold the U20 trainer competition. After Lin Yuan heard this, she nodded silently. Indeed, the cultivation of the next generation of trainers is something that cannot be underestimated. This series of competitions is first expected to be held in various provinces. If the feedback is good, then national competitions will be held, and only trainers under the age of 20 can participate. After speaking, the man glanced at the senior and smiled. Your daughter must also be able to get a good place in the U20. Senior sister was startled, and subconsciously grabbed the luxurious ball with the big mouth baby. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded and said, I will send someone to organize it. Indeed, this is a rare opportunity for the new generation of Zhongcheng. Today is the day when the six tails broke their shells. Liu Cheng sat in front of the incubator, staring at the red button, nervously daring to move. As the string of numbers on the screen returned to 0, the elf egg in the incubator began to shake violently, and then cracks began to appear on the surface, and a small brown claw protruded from the eggshell. Liu Cheng held his breath. The crack of the eggshell further expanded, and a small six-tailed crawled out of the eggshell with difficulty. With its eyes narrowed into slits, it let out a soft cry. Damn it! Liu Cheng almost called out. This is different from what he imagined. The reddish-brown hair, you can imagine its soft touch just by looking at it. A tuft of fiery red hair on the forehead is particularly conspicuous, and behind him, dragging a tail that has not been split, curled up to the six-tailed milky white abdomen. This Pokémon actually looks exactly the same as in the illustrated book. At this moment, Liu Wei stood up, shook his body, opened the pair of amber-like eyes, and met Liu Cheng's eyes at a glance. Seeing Liu Cheng, Liu Wei seemed to show a smile and let out a cry. Liu Cheng's heart was instantly captured. He opened the incubator and carried Liu Wei out. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com placed it on a cushion purchased online and wiped its body with a towel. Why is this six-tailed Pokémon different from everyday Pokémon? Just when Liu Cheng was thinking about this question, he suddenly felt that there was something in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for getting the first elf. The strongest trainer development system is officially launched. Ding! Complete the mission objective. First partner quest reward, the restoration degree of the initial spirit reaches 100%. Goldfinger is here. Liu Cheng was already used to this curious world of Pokémon, but the appearance of the six tails seemed to bring dawn to his life. He burst into tears immediately. I really am the hero of Saya's song. Having said that, before understanding the system, the more important thing is to conquer the six tails. He faced Liyue and stretched out his hand towards it. You will be my elf from now on, let's work hard together. Liyue was stunned for a moment, and then he seemed to understand Liu Cheng's words, and shouted happily, and stretched out his small paws with meat pads. Liu Cheng gently placed the red and white ball on top of Liyue's head, a red light. Liyue's pokeball didn't even shake, and made a soft beep sound. Perfectly subdued. Liu Cheng smiled, it seemed that he and this six-tailed were a good fit. After releasing the six tails, Liu Cheng only felt that he was a little closer to it. When he thought that he would have his own spirit from now on, Liu Cheng couldn't help laughing. Liyue licked Liu Cheng's palm and tilted his head, wondering why the master laughed so happily like a fool. Liu Cheng was stroking Liyue while pouring moo milk into Liyue's feed bowl. Moo milk is rich in nutrients and can be consumed by both humans and elves. It is the perfect food for newly born elves. But the very unfriendly point is that it is expensive. 1 L of moo milk actually costs 600 yuan, which is more expensive than any milk in his previous life. Although this stuff is really delicious. Liu Cheng took 2 bites before Liyue was born, and the taste was smooth with a little natural sweetness. Liu Cheng swore that if he had the chance, he would definitely make a big milk tank. Six Tails licked the milk obediently, wrapping her tail like a scarf. The newborn Six Tails have only one tail, and as it grows, it will gradually fork into 6 beautiful tails. Six-tailed tails are not only bright in color, but also have the unique body temperature of fire elves, which is very warm. Liu Cheng simply couldn't put it down on Liyue's tail. System. Liu Cheng softly called in his mind while stroking Liyue's tail hair. This is also Liu Cheng's unexpected joy. The six tails did not change into the appearance after the magic reform, which is obviously the credit of the so-called 100% restoration degree of the system, but he did not know what other functions the system had. Dear host, the strongest trainer development system is here for you. Your current permissions are reconnaissance, numerical enhancement, and map restoration. Please wait for more permissions to be unlocked. A simple black and white screen appeared in front of Liu Cheng's eyes, just like the classic Pokémon screen of handheld consoles when he was a child, only in black and white. What is this investigation? Liu Cheng asked curiously. With the control of his consciousness, a magnifying glass-like image appeared in front of his eyes. He pointed the magnifying glass at Lu Tai, and a string of data appeared in the center of the screen. Six Tails personality, introverted feature, fire supporting moves, supernatural power, ramming, tail wagging evaluation, mental strength is strong. This reconnaissance is roughly equivalent to an enhanced version of the illustrated book, which can see various values of the elf data. In the game, there are often only those few matching moves against elves, and some moves are useless at all. But in reality, different combinations can exert unexpected power. Reconnaissance allows Liu Cheng to gain insight into the strength of the opponent's elves before the battle, and even the matching moves can be seen at a glance. This is undoubtedly an extremely powerful golden finger. Hey, Liyue actually has supernatural powers. Liu Cheng was surprised. Supernatural power is a superpower type special attack move with a power value of 80, which is exactly in line with the high special attack racial value of the Six Tails. Liu Cheng was also a little surprised. After all, the Six Tails were only born, but they were able to master such powerful moves. But thinking about it makes me relieved. Supernatural power is a skill that can be inherited through egg moves in the game. Presumably, Lu Tai's parents are also extremely powerful elves. Moreover, this is the real world. Not only is the move powerful, but it also requires hard training to exert its power. As for the elf character, it is also very suitable for the Six Tails. Liu Cheng stroked Liyue and said with a smile, I really picked up a treasure. Back to the system, the restoration of the illustrated book must be to restore the elves to their original appearance. After all, the elves in Liu Cheng's eyes are all magically altered. This seemingly insignificant function is of great significance to Liu Cheng. However, the 100% restoration of the 6 tails is only a novice's benefit, and there are various restrictions on the restoration of other elves. Liu Cheng glanced at the report of the system. Only 100,000 yuan can complete the 100% restoration of an elf, which is very expensive. What is this numerical enhancement? Saying that, Liu Cheng clicked on a red icon. Host, Liu Cheng HP, 0 attack, 0 defense, 0 special attack, 0 special defense, 0 speed, 0 potential points to be allocated, 6 points. The host can strengthen various values by completing tasks or using money to achieve the effect of strengthening the attribute value of the elf. The system explained. How much does it cost to increase one attribute? Liu Cheng asked curiously. Currently 1 W yuan can increase any value by 1 point, and the price will change again after reaching the growth limit. Liu Cheng was speechless. This is equivalent to using various expensive potions in the game to increase the effort value of the elves to maximize their attributes. But Lukeng's system is obviously more powerful. It can directly improve the attributes of elves. That is to say, if they are cultivated properly, even if the individual value of Lukeng elves is poor, it can become the strongest of the same kind in the world. But the price is also frighteningly high, and $1 can only increase a little. What is this potential point to be allocated? Liu Cheng asked. The host can assign potential points to various values by itself. Liu Cheng was curious about where these 6 potential points came from, and found that the system had a document that looked like a historical report. When he opened it, a row of words appeared. Congratulations to the host for completing the achievement Classic Red and White Ball Mission Objective. Get the first Pokeball mission reward, 1 potential point 5,000 yuan in cash. Congratulations to the host for completing the achievement, the first capture mission objective, conquer any elf, limited to 1 completion, mission reward, 5 potential points. 1 commemorative ball in the space attached to the system. A rare commemorative ball is lying quietly in the corner. Next to it was a stack of banknotes. Although this kind of commemorative ball has a unique appearance, its capture rate is no different from that of ordinary pokeballs. It is generally a pokeball that rich people choose to show off. However, the setting of buying 10 pokeballs and getting one with them makes it far inferior to the deluxe ball. Come precious! Liu Cheng played with it for a while and then threw it back into the space. For Liu Cheng, this reward is not as real as 5,000 ocean. I put 6 points of potential value into the special attack attribute. After all, the 6 tails have the ultimate move of magic power, which cannot be wasted. After dealing with the system-related things, Liu Cheng breathed a sigh of relief, and when he looked back, he saw that Lu Wei had already drank all the milk. Reading www.yuyuganshu.com faced the empty basin and looked at him eagerly. Really a foodie? Liu Cheng laughed and scolded, I'll get it for you right away. Liu Cheng was about to go downstairs to get milk, when he suddenly thought that he is now a household with 500,000 yuan, why can't he buy some high-end elf food for Liu Wei? Liu Cheng thought for a moment and said, System, can I buy goods directly from you? Ding, the query is in progress. After the query is completed, the host's authority is not enough to open the mall system. OK. After the door was closed, Liu Cheng had no choice but to surf the internet to find new food for Liu Wei. The most suitable food for Pokemon is nothing more than tree fruit, elf cube, and the 4th generation of Baofen. However, Liu Cheng knew very little about Baofen, so he could only start with tree fruit and elf cubes. The elf block is a candy-shaped block made of tree fruit, which greatly improves the efficiency of the tree fruit, and at the same time, the price is higher. The elves on the internet are sold in groups, a group of 30 cans, not just for sale alone, a group of medium-grade elves costs 3 WRMB. Liu Cheng was speechless. He thought he was a big family with 5,000 yuan, but he couldn't even afford food. No wonder it is said that trainers are burning money. In desperation, Liu Cheng had to choose the fruit for Liu Wei. Tree fruits have different tastes. If the taste is not suitable for the elf's appetite, it will not only fail to achieve the purpose of cultivation, but also may affect the intimacy. Regarding the taste of elves, trainers need to explore by themselves, but Liu Cheng has a system. System, what is Liu Wei's favorite flavor? Ding. After testing, it is sweet, recommended tree fruit, peach fruit, mango, etc. Learn. The price of a sweet fruit is 500 yuan. Liu Cheng only bought 10 pieces, and the 5,000 yuan was spent before it was warmed up. For trainers, the cost of cultivating elves is tens of thousands, otherwise elves will not be able to exert their true potential at all. Whether it is a tree fruit or an elf's block, it can provide the necessary nutrients for elves and promote growth, all of which are necessary investments. Although the flesh was aching, Liu Cheng still ordered the purchase with tears in his eyes. He looked back at the little fox who started to doze after eating, thinking that making money must be on the agenda. Otherwise, his money would not be enough for the 6 tails to eat. I saw the 6 tails wrapped themselves in their warm tails and slept beautifully on the cushion. Newborn elves need a lot of nutrition and rest, but the development cycle of elves is very short, and training can take place in about a week or 2. Insect-type Pokémon is even more amazing, as short as 3 or 4 days, and as long as a month, it can evolve into the final stage. However, premature evolution will drain the potential of elves. Before mastering the necessary skills, Liu Cheng would not choose to let the 6 tails evolve. Besides, he can't afford the fire stone. 700,000 to 800,000 fire stones are enough to cover a house in a small county town. The road to a trainer is a long way to go. Liu Cheng let out a long sigh, but looking at Liu Wei's sound of sleep, he unconsciously showed a father-like smile. Trainer, it smells so good. Lookeng, my long-winged gull has hatched. Early in the morning, the fat house ale hurriedly ran into the classroom, grabbed Liu Cheng, and his tone was full of excitement. I can understand your mood. Put your hands down first. Being tightly grasped by greasy hands, Liu Cheng felt a chill. Soryui, I'll show you its photo. Ale looked around for a while, making sure that the elusive head teacher would not suddenly appear, and handed the phone to Liu Chendao. In the picture, a newly born chick with a body, a sharp beak and fierce eyes, tore a piece of raw meat viciously. Forehead cute. Ale's eyes seemed to glow, just like a little angel. Yes, ha 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 ha. Liu Cheng's feeling is understandable. After all, my own children look good no matter what. Besides, Liu Cheng's aesthetics are different from ordinary people, so it's hard to say anything. Tisk, this kind of elf is too embarrassed to show it off. While they were talking, only a sharp voice was heard. Hu Sheng, a well-known in the class, leaned his head over and glanced at his phone, mocking. Such a cheap elves can only do low-grade jobs all their lives. Hu Sheng folded his arms in his arms, posing as he thought he was handsome. As soon as these words came out, the sound of morning reading suddenly stopped, and the faces of many people instantly became very ugly. This high school is a key high school. Most people are admitted through their own efforts. Many people's family background is only average, so they have no plans to become trainers. Although the big-billed gull evolved from the long-winged gull as the core of the rainy day, it lacks financial support and is more often used as a means of transportation. Hu Sheng's voice was so loud that many people heard it, but no one refuted it. Everyone recited in silence. Ale's face flushed red, but he couldn't think of anything to refute, so he stuck his neck and said, I think long-winged gulls are pretty good. Ha, I said you are really ignorant. Hu Sheng screamed, deliberately loudly saying, My starting elf is a little fire dragon. I didn't say anything, and it's your turn to show off this fat man. When did I show off? Ale is not good at arguing with people, and his biggest hobby is to play electric games at home. At this time, when he encounters the thorny Hu Sheng, it is hard to tell. As soon as Hu Sheng's words came out, there was an uproar in the classroom. The value of the little fire dragon in the market is as high as 700,000, not to mention the huge potential. It is not a problem to cultivate with Hu Sheng's family background, and it is just around the corner to become a fire-breathing dragon. That's the symbol of the elite trainer in the league's promotional MV. Hu Sheng was very satisfied with the reactions of the crowd, and looked at Ale complacently. Hu Sheng, who only won the little fire dragon yesterday, Zheng Zhou had no way to let everyone know that now, by stepping on Ale, he suddenly felt the thrill of being noticed. Poor ghost, fight with me. At this moment, only one voice was heard. Liu Cheng smiled and said, Student Hu Sheng, please be quiet in the early class, it will disturb my study. I saw Liu Cheng pointed to his ear and said apologetically, your voice is like a dragonfly buzzing in your ear. Pfft, a girl couldn't hold back this wonderful metaphor, and she broke her gong all at once. Hu Sheng looked at Liu Cheng angrily. In his eyes, Liu Cheng is just a nerd who is obsessed with getting into a prestigious university, and the arrogant and domineering Hu Sheng can't allow others to disturb him when he is pretending to be an ex. Hu Sheng was very angry, and in a fit of anger, he stepped forward and grabbed Liu Cheng by the collar. At this moment, a red light suddenly appeared in Liu Cheng's school bag, and Lu Tai's petite figure appeared on the desk. Hu Sheng, who was trying to hurt his master, was aflame. Ah! Eyebrows, my eyebrows! The so-called flame is just a spark, but it went to Hu Sheng's face and lit Hu Sheng's eyebrows, making him jump up and down anxiously. Water, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Water. My eyebrows are on. Everyone was holding back their laughter. Although Hu Sheng was very pitiful, his usual behavior was really hateful. Most of the people looked at Hu Sheng's jumping feet and felt a sense of pleasure. A kind girl handed Hu Sheng a bottle of water, and Hu Sheng hurriedly threw it on her head, just like a chicken with burnt eyebrows. Ale looked at Hu Sheng Guang's eyebrows, which were halfway up, but didn't hold back, he burst out laughing. The whole classroom burst into laughter. Hu Sheng glared at Ale viciously, turned to Liu Cheng, and shouted, Liu Cheng, wait! What's the noise? At this moment, the head teacher came in and looked at Hu Sheng, also at a loss. Hu Sheng, why are your eyebrows gone? There was another burst of laughter. Hu Sheng shouted, Teacher, Liu Cheng ordered the elves to attack me. This is not a trivial matter. In this elf society, there are often incidents of terrorists using elves to hurt people. The association strictly stipulates that trainers are not allowed to use elves to hurt humans, otherwise it will be regarded as a violation of the law. Ali shouted anxiously, No, Hu Sheng made the first move. Ah Cheng's elf jumped out of the elf ball to protect the master. There is indeed a precedent for the elves to take the initiative to protect the ball when the master is in danger, but it all happened between the trainer and the elves who had a deep bond. How is it possible for an elf who was just born a few days ago? The head teacher's expression suddenly became serious, and he said, Liu Cheng, Hu Sheng, come out with me. Hu Sheng was the first to go out, staring at Cheng Cheng and said coldly, You're done. Liu Cheng gave Ale a reassuring look, took the six tails back to the poke ball, and followed the head teacher out. What the is going on? The head teacher looked at the two and asked. Selfishly, he prefers Liu Cheng. After all, one was a proud student who had the hope of being admitted to Jiangnan University, but he couldn't afford to offend the other. Liu Cheng instigated the six tails to attack me, and my eyebrows were burned off. Hu Sheng, the villain, complained first. Why would he attack you for no reason? The head teacher frowned. He is jealous that my family is rich, and the primal elf is better than him. The head teacher shook his head secretly. Although Hu Sheng's family was rich, they also spoiled their only son. Hu Sheng often bullies his classmates, is arrogant and domineering, and his character is really bad. Liu Cheng, tell me. Hu Sheng ridiculed that Ale was not fit to be a trainer. Since he was studying in the morning class, I asked Hu Sheng to go back to his seat to study, but he did it to me, but my 6 tails protected me. Liu Cheng restored the matter in a few words. Liu Cheng's words were true, and the head teacher nodded secretly. Considering Hu Sheng's performance as a school bully on weekdays, it has long been common for him to do something to his classmates. And the training of the little fire dragon is very difficult. With Hu Sheng's temperament, he can evolve into a fire dinosaur, thank God. But whether Liu Wei took the initiative to play the ball is up for debate. It involves whether Liu Cheng was intentionally hurting someone or was just a legitimate defense. Did the elves take the initiative to play the ball? The head teacher asked. The surveillance and my classmates can testify for me. Liu Cheng said frankly. On the other hand, Hu Sheng looked like he was gnashing his teeth. The head teacher immediately understood most of it, and said, Hu Sheng, don't worry, I will definitely give you an explanation. You go back first, I have something to tell Liu Cheng. Hu Sheng glanced at Liu Cheng triumphantly. Look, the class teacher didn't dare to offend me, so what if there was evidence? I'm afraid this is not a fool. Liu Cheng silently looked at Hu Sheng's back, and then heard the head teacher sigh, Liu Cheng, the college entrance examination is coming soon. You are a promising student in our class. Don't delay your studies because of this. You don't know the background of Hu Sheng's family. He sponsored a lot of money for our school. Next time, try to hide. Liu Cheng nodded. Although Liu Cheng has a system, the most important thing now is to develop his own strength first. Although Hu Sheng has the support of Xia Hualong and his family's funds, a trainer, without hard training and hard work, is impossible to cultivate a powerful elves anyway. The head teacher looked at Liu Cheng, who was in deep thought, and sighed silently, suddenly thinking that he also had the desire to become a trainer when he was young. But the reality was cruel, he had to be a teacher to make a living. In this class, including Hu Sheng, there are only 3 people who have filled in as trainers. Today's children are also extraordinarily rational, knowing that the price of chasing their dreams is too great. Anyway, young people always have to hit a wall. The head teacher shook his head and said, I can't handle the matter of Hu Sheng. I have to leave it to the principal, but I will definitely tell the school the truth and try my best to fight for you. You, go back to class first. Liu Cheng nodded. He knew the difficulties of the head teacher, so he couldn't force him. Looking at Liu Cheng's frank back, the head teacher shook his head with a wry smile. Principal, this is the history of the conflict between Liu Cheng and Hu Sheng. Please take a look. The head teacher cautiously knocked on the door of the principal's room. The principal had already heard about it and heard that Hu Sheng's father was furious. This well-organized and neatly written thing is the last thing the head teacher can do for Liu Cheng. Let's put it there first. The principal was wearing a somewhat crowded suit and looked a little restrained. He was relieved to see that it was the head teacher. Old Chen, a big man is coming today, let's put trivial matters aside for now. But this is Hu Baiao's son. Even if Hu Baiao is here today, he is still a trivial matter. The principal said with his eyes wide open. Suddenly, a tall man appeared at the door. Although he has a strong physique, he walks silently like a cat, and there is a long scar on his face, giving people a strong sense of oppression. You're here. The principal said with a smile on his face, and then he said with a changed face in Sichuan opera, Old Chen, don't go pour a glass of water for the officer. Before the head teacher could react, he heard the man wave his hand and said with a smile, don't bother, I'm here to convey my message. You've heard about U20, right? The principal nodded desperately. Although Lao Chen was confused, he had no choice but to nod his head. In the entire Zhongcheng, rookie trainers under the age of 20 can participate in this U20 youth trainer competition. You are a key high school here, so you have to take care of the players. Although the man was smiling, his eyes were like ice that did not melt, which made the head teacher feel a chill. The principal nodded busily and said, "It's natural, we will definitely select outstanding players to participate, but the college entrance examination is just around the corner. Can senior high school students?" The man waved his hand and said, "The top 3 in the competition will be recommended to Jiangnan University." "This is a good thing, this is great." The principal was so happy that his fat face bloomed like a chrysanthemum. He was afraid that this competition would affect the admission rate, but since he can get a recommendation from a famous school, why not do it? Spread the word and make a name for your school. Then I'll put the file here. Take a good look at it. Hey, what is this? The man put the file bag on the principal's desk, and suddenly narrowed his eyes, picked up the copy of the incident written by the head teacher. This is a trivial matter, it's not your fault. The principal said hurriedly. Six Tails automatically play the ball to protect the master? Interesting. The man grinned and suddenly saw the student's name and surname Lu, and his eyes froze. When did this student surnamed Lu get this six-tailed? The principal glanced at the head teacher, who hurriedly said, "This is the first time I know about him having 6 tails, but he is just an adult, and it was only about a week ago that he registered." The man said to himself, "A week ago, the surname is Lu, Liuwei. Ha, that's right." The man laughed loudly, and suddenly slapped the table hard, startling the principal and Lao Chen. "I don't care what you do with this student. If he is treated unfairly, the elves of the armed forces will probably be at the gate of your school the next day. Do you understand what I mean?" The principal was stunned. He didn't know why Lu Cheng was so valued by the other party. No matter from which aspect of the admission materials, Lu Cheng was just an ordinary student. But he still nodded vigorously and said, "Don't worry, the school will definitely handle this." The man smiled and said, "You don't need to show such an ugly expression. I will help you with Hu Biao. After all, the competition still requires him to pay." Hearing the man's words, the principal breathed a sigh of relief. The man waved his hand and walked out of the door. The head teacher asked curiously, "Principal, what is his origin, why does he look so bluffing?" The principal's shirt was soaked with sweat. He panted, "You know, everyone in the armed forces is a gangster, but it's not easy to mess with, by the way." He turned to the head teacher and said, "Does Lu Cheng's family have a military background?" The head teacher looked blank, "No. It's weird." The principal touched his chin, "Then why do you care so much about Lu Cheng?" "Then, principal, what about Hu Sheng?" "Don't worry about it." The principal waved his hand impatiently, "It's not easy for us to offend anyone, just a token punishment." The head teacher nodded thoughtfully and walked out the door.